This is Outside. I'm Chris Prue. We're in the North Conway studio with the folks from Great Glen Trails and the Mount Washington Auto Road, Lisa McCoy and Megan Moody Schwartz. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
We have a lot to talk about. First and foremost, as we're recording this, it is the transition season. We're going from summer to fall, and fall is one of the most spectacular times up in Pinkham Notch. So we'll start with let's start with the Mount Washington Auto Road. What does fall mean for the Mount Washington Auto Road in terms of operations, and what draws people to the top of the mountain?
Great. So the Mount Washington Auto Road, being the road to the clouds, you can drive in all different types of weather and all different scenery, including New Hampshire's famous foliage. It's really incredible. I believe is it snowliage is the term?
Snowliage
happens,
yes.
Where you have the gradient of the different fall leaves, and the higher peaks sometimes you have some snow.
It is, as we're recording this, I believe just today the Mount Washington Observatory recorded their first sub-freezing temperatures since June, so we are definitely getting closer to snowliage.
Yes.
Yes, every day. And you can start to see it. There's a couple trees kind of starting to show their colors. And so the beautiful thing about Pinkham Notch is that, every day you'll see a little bit changing.
Well, one of the biggest questions tourists have to the area is when is peak foliage, and it really does vary from location to location, even within the White Mountains. So what would be your advice for someone coming up to experience peak foliage in the Notch?
I would say the best resource would be to go to, I think it's visitnewhampshire.com, and they have a foliage tracker. And I think you can submit your own kind of user-generated content so that you can best understand where the peak foliage is. But usually for the Mount Washington Auto Road, you're looking around the second week of October.
Okay.
But it's beautiful for the whole season, to be honest.
The Mount Washington Valley Vibe, I believe, is going to be doing some weekly foliage updates this season as well on their social media and their website.
Oh, also, you can just watch outside, too, just in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Also, let's go down in elevation now to the base of the Mount Washington Auto Road, Great Glen Trails Outdoor Center. Summer's not quite over there. I think you guys have some kayaking trips that have just been announced?
We do.
Yeah, so
who wants to take that one?
Right?
We'll go for it. So depending on the water level and the journey that you want to have, you could do anything from a half-day wildlife tour to a full-day tour. We're still offering whitewater kayaking clinics. And then in the fall specifically, it's a great time to camp. And so you can work with our manager, Nate, and you can build up to like a 3-day camping trip, which includes your food and your camping gear and travel, everything that you need, with a guide, which is the safest way to go.
And fall is a great time to do that, too. You get crisp air, the beautiful colors in the water. It's just a great time to experience the North Country. And back at Great Glen Trails inside Pinkham Notch, will you be offering mountain bike rentals through the fall?
Absolutely. So we have 2-hour and 4-hour mountain bike rentals, and all for our rolling, beautiful carriage roads. And it makes a perfect day out with the Mount Washington Auto Road. So you come up, drive the Auto Road in the morning, have lunch at the most beautiful location in Pinkham Notch at the Glen House Hotel. They're open every day for lunch and dinner. And then you can pop in and get a little exercise, go out on the trails, go to the Great Angel Cabin right out in the woods and enjoy all the scenery that we've got there.
Absolutely beautiful. And if you're using some of this gear, whether it's kayaks or mountain bikes, Great Glen is known for selling off their rental fleet every year, so some good deals coming up.
Really good deals. We've got deals posted now. If you go to our Facebook page, Great Glen Trails on Facebook, there's a whole sheet there about what we have for sale, from bikes, from cruiser bikes to mountain bikes, kayaks, some whitewater kayaks in addition to flatwater kayaks, I believe.
Fantastic deals. Let's talk events now. Fall season is upon us. What do you guys have going on at the Auto Road in Great Glen?
Well, our next series, starting on Thursday, September 7th, is our fall running and walking series, which is sponsored by Cotopaxi.
Nice.
So it's a 6-week series where it's great. You see everybody from families to folks who are rehabbing to athletes coming out and racing against their own time and other people. And the last day of the series, on the 12th, we always do a potluck and awards ceremony, which is a really great sense of community and camaraderie, and also maybe peak foliage this year. So
yeah.
Could be.
And great trail system as well. So even if I think you guys allow people to walk your trail system during the day. It's just such a fun and beautiful spot to be. And for looking for a trail run, it definitely hits the note. And then I believe at the base of the auto road, Muster in the Mountains is
That's
coming
correct.
up. What is that all
about? It's the
about?
weekend after Labor Day weekend, and it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a free event. Essentially, it's a colonial reenactment. It's free. You can walk in, check out people's different encampments. There's a blacksmith that's there. You can buy some kind of hammered tools and kind of old lanterns, all sorts of interesting things that you might not really find unless you're at an antique shop. And of course, it's not new. But it's a really interesting and educational experience to walk around the muster. And we always do a cannon demonstration as well. A couple of years ago, there was 2 Civil War cannons and a Revolutionary War cannon.
Wow.
It was really neat to watch the difference in technology between the Civil War and the Revolutionary War. The Revolutionary War cannon definitely had an advantage over that Civil War cannon. They were
Really?
Because backwards.
Yeah.
Sorry. Civil War.
Technology behind over the next 100
No,
years.
sorry, the other way around. It was incredible to watch. They're just kind of aiming this little cannon out into the woods. Of course, we cordoned it off, so if you're out there enjoying a nice bike ride, you're not going to get
So
hit
with the
by
blacksmith, do people bring up the horses to get the horses shoed?
No, there's no horses.
Keep your horses at home?
You keep your horses at home.
Okay.
Your goats and sheep, they stay at home too. Pigs
Right.
and all that stuff.
It is an appropriate event for up in Pinkham Notch, because every time you go through the White Mountains, you feel that you think about the history of the area, and sometimes you just feel the ghosts of the pioneers and the natives and everything that's gone on around here. So it feels right at home at the base of the auto road.
It does, and it's funny, if you spend some time, like an hour or so walking around, you kind of walk back to where, a base lodge or something, and you see what everyone else is wearing, our regular modern clothes, and feels a little funny, because you kind of get used to that look and feel of the colonial
And you feel like
enactment.
you're in the future all of a sudden.
You do. And
You walked out of the 1850s into
Right
into the modern era.
2020s.
Yeah, can you believe we're in the 2020s?
Right?
But it also it feels at home at the Mount Washington Auto Road, because the auto road was actually built back, that's when it got started, right? Is back in those times.
We
the
opened in 1861.
Wow.
So we're in our 162nd year of, if my math is correct.
Wow.
I think we just celebrated our 163rd
Oh, there we go.
anniversary.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Right in between.
And we'll keep going with the seasons now. So we hit on the end of summer, fall, and then it's time for a winter preview, because Great Glen is probably most famous for its cross-country skiing.
Indeed. I mean, it's incredible to think about winter already, but of course, once that temperature starts dropping, you start thinking about snowage. People start thinking like, oh, do I have all the equipment that I need for winter? I started doing this kind of mental calculation, like, do I have the right skis that I need? And this is the time to start thinking about it. And this is why we host an open house the second Friday in November. I believe it's the 17th, sorry. You can get all sorts of great gear at a great deal.
Yep.
And our winter season passes are now on sale. If you buy your winter season pass now before December 1st, you get $25 off.
Very cool. And one of the things I always think about is like the start of the winter season is your craft fair.
Definitely. So on Small Business Saturday, right after Thanksgiving, we host our craft fair. We're currently booking vendors, so if anybody wants, they can reach out to us, Lisa or Megan, at Great Glen Trails, and it's great. We fill the whole first floor of the base lodge with different local vendors and artisans for holiday shopping.
So many fun things going on up at Great Glen Trails and the Mount Washington Auto Road. Did we miss anything that you want to mention? I think we've talked. I think we've hit on most of it.
If you haven't already been up on the auto road and been to Great Glen this summer from some of our events, all sorts of different things, this is the time. That's what I would say. This is like, seize the moment, because it's, we learned from this summer. You got to get out there and enjoy when you can.
It goes by fast, and every season is its own excuse to visit Great Glen Trails and the Mount Washington Auto Road. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Chris.
Megan Moody Schwartz, Lisa McCoy, Great Glen Trails and the Mount Washington Auto Road. You're watching Outside.